It is already July 2nd of 2025, and the one major challenge that the MCU is dealing with right now, that Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company are going through, is indeed the Ironheart ratings disaster on Disney+. Now, we already know that this show is all wrapped up, it is done with. We have episodes 4, 5, and 6 now available on Disney+, and even a major cameo appearance, I would say definitely more so than a cameo, is one in particular that didn't even save the show to begin with. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, spoilers for Ironheart. We know that Mephisto, appearing of course in the show, even regardless of that, it didn't salvage the series. It didn't really save the show in one bit at all. Even though Sacha Baron Cohen playing Mephisto is probably the best thing about the show. That's not to say that the series is good as far as I see things, and along with many others out there. But focusing on Dominique Thorne, alright, the star of Ironheart, the actress who plays Riri Williams, she's going on the same constant trope about Marvel fans and those that oppose DEI and LGBTQ and all this nonsense. So let's get into this. Now, one thing about Marvel right now is that we know that Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, they're also engaging in damage control about this show, saying things like, don't trust the negative reviews, don't trust the trades, stuff like that. And they were doing everything in their power to really prop up this show. That's exactly why they had RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., some weeks ago going on talk shows to really say that Riri is the best thing to the MCU to represent the legacy of Tony Stark. However, on top of that, with the Walt Disney Company and Marvel now kickstarting their damage control after Ironheart episodes 4 through 6 didn't help them with the ratings and reviews, especially with the Mephisto cameo. One major development going on now involves more to do with Dominique Thorne going off at the fans yet again in the midst of the Ironheart ratings disaster. Now, Thorne delivered the following in a desperate play to salvage the series. I think Marvel fans, she says, just need to take a step back and to stop focusing on our support for both diversity and LGBTQ and claiming that as some form of a hidden message. And I'm not the first one to point this out, but those arguments are coming from obvious political talking points and landscapes. Believe it or not, the majority love our characters that represent drag, trans, and other rights in this country. Slug is such a comic relief character that even the men are in love with her. They just don't want to admit that she's the comic relief character and represents drag in a way that Disney had never done before, and I'm proud to be a part of this movement. There are always going to be a very loud and vocal side of the Marvel fanbase that will just never learn about the values of diversity and LGBTQIA. I am more than proud that we finally got our show out, because for a moment there I was thinking, is this it? Are we not releasing this thing? And Disney and Marvel, I thank them for showing everyone who's boss and contributing something great to this world. There are times when it's justified to focus on DEI and LGBTQ above the story elements. Now guys, let me say one thing about that quick. There's no instance where it can be justified to focus on that more than the story. That is an agenda in and of itself. I don't care what everyone else says, or anyone says, that is an agenda, right? And that's exactly why you have a lot of actors and actresses like this that just tend to say things like that. It's not an agenda, and then they go on to say things that actually spell it out to be an agenda. She goes on to continue, and that was in this case with our series Ironheart. If you take the time to just listen to that community and how they want to be seen, you can get things done, and get things done properly. I think Slug is our greatest achievement with this character, and of course you are going to see a division from Marvel fans that are going to be against that sort of thing. The problem there is those that are against something like that just don't realize that these are normal human beings, these are normal people that just want a shot in this industry and to be seen for the first time on screen, and not in an indirect way, but up front and center for a majority of the show. And this is the first time that we did that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Our show is the #1 show in the world right now. It's important to not listen to the haters and the critics when their only argument is about a so-called agenda or message. We are just including everyone to have a shot in this wonderful industry and to become a part of the Marvel Universe. Hey guys, let me say one thing about that. Now, pandering to 1% of the population is really not doing anything beneficial to a studio like Marvel, to a studio like the Walt Disney Company, and if anything, you're creating more division when you're focusing on 1% of the population and really just making that your main focus of the show. That's exactly why a lot of Marvel fans have been turned off by many projects out there. And it's not just the LGBTQ stuff, let's be very real about this. Put all the agendas aside and everything related to DEI to the wayside. There's just a lot of bad things coming out. Ironheart has a lot of problems going for it, whether it's the writing, the directing, the producing, the acting, the line delivery. I mean, everything across the board is just lackluster. And Riri is not a likable character, regardless if it was played by Dominique Thorne or not. The way that they actually set up this character in the script, it wouldn't have worked for anybody, I feel. You know, anybody who got that role, I think, would have failed miserably at it because of how it was written, how the character was written in the script, right? So, this is where it gets interesting, is that she goes on to continue. Marvel fans should seriously stop obsessing over who is this gender or that gender when all they are doing is playing characters. I think in a short time from now, the critics and those that use their only argument about DEI and LGBTQ will soon realize just how successful this story is and will be for the MCU. People just don't know it yet. I think fans should respect our characters like Slug and Jerry Blood, played by the wonderful Zoe Terakis. So, again, correct me if I'm mispronouncing that name, Zoe Terakis there, but that's, I believe, a trans actor that played Jerry Blood in the show. She's not in it all that much, or he's not in it all that much in the actual series, but Slug is the main side character, so to speak, the side character that has the most screen time, alright, if you really want to put it that way. But what's interesting about this, again, is the fact that they're focusing so much on diversity this, diversity that, LGBTQIA. It's so exhausting and tiresome. That's exactly why a lot of Marvel fans have given up. Now look, whether or not this is going to negatively impact Fantastic Four, that's really up for grabs right now. Nobody really knows. And I've heard a lot from Marvel fans, a lot of casual fans, and even hardcore fans that said that, yeah, I mean, this is really changing their attitude toward Fantastic Four, especially after what Pedro Pascal had to say about the Ironheart show, about how he loves everything about it, how he loves how it's all focused on LGBTQ and diversity and everything related to it in that sense. Again, really not focusing on comments about the story. It's all about the agenda. People are tired of it. And at the grand level, I'm not really quite sure if Ironheart is going to negatively impact Fantastic Four. We'll have to really wait and see what the numbers do at the box office. But again, the fact that you have Dominique Thorne going off again at Marvel fans, and look, she's not as insufferable as Rachel Zegler or anybody like that, or even like a Brie Larson or a Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but she's really going, you know, on that constant trope about the DEI, politics and everything else related to LGBTQ, and how she's really defending that at all costs. So anyway, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.